Shout out to the people that actually remember using the mouse with the balls inside and you had to take out the trackballs and clean them when you had the... Anyways, I'm dating myself a bit here.
Nice.
I've always found the evolution of gaming mice to be quite fascinating. When I first started gaming, the weight of a mouse wasn't a big deal. In fact, if your mouse was too light, it was considered to be a cheap version or a knockoff brand. And the mouse that I was using for a long time, the Logitech G502, later on the G900, the whole value add of those mice was the fact that it came with like adjustable weights and you could make them heavier if you wanted to for gaming, not lighter. But then the whole lightweight mouse revolution came along and I find myself swapping mice left and right pretty regularly. In fact, the longest mouse that I've had in the past 5 years was the Razer Viper Ultimate, the first generation one. That was the one I probably used consistently for a year. But since then, I've tested some really great mice like the Xtrfy M4W, which I actually love, and some that were quite disappointing and not so great, like the glorious Model O Pro, this blue one right here. Now, before we go more in-depth review on this mouse, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. It is really appreciated. Enter Epomaker with their Click Mouse. Now, this is Epomaker's first attempt at a lightweight gaming mouse. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Epomaker because I have a bunch of their mechanical keyboards that you see behind me and even some more in the closet that I still have to review. So when I first saw the Click Mouse from Epomaker, naturally, I was really excited because now they're getting into the mouse market, which has always been an interest of mine as well. So inside the box, you get the mouse, you get the USB dongle, you get the USB-C cable to go with the dongle, you get the manual, and something that I didn't quite expect when I was first opening up the mouse, and that is its very own grip tape that came along with the mouse. So that was a nice little bonus right there. The dongle is not also your standard USB dongle that you would see with a wireless keyboard or a wireless mouse, whereas it's a little USB dongle that you plug into your computer. In fact, the USB dongle that it comes with is kind of a receiver that it plugs directly into the USB cable. So you can't just take the USB receiver and plug it directly to the PC. You do need a USB-C cable to attach to this dongle receiver for the best connection. Now, the Click Mouse weighs just 59 grams, putting it in the same category as the Pulsar X-Lite V2 and the Razer Viper V3 almost. And at this point, most lightweight mice feel pretty similar. You're talking about 54 to 59 grams, so you're talking about a 5-gram differential, which, to be honest, unless you're in a competitive esports team, and even then, you're probably just using the mouse that your sponsor gives you anyway. But unless you're at that level of gameplay, those 4 or 5 grams are not going to make that big of a difference on your day-to-day gamer bottom fragger like myself. Now, the body is plastic, but it does feel very solid. There's no creaking or flex when squeezing it. And the side buttons have a nice tactile bump, unlike some mice where they just feel kind of mush and you don't really get a good tactile feedback from them. The overall shape reminds me a lot, actually, of the Razer Viper Ultimate. I have the first generation one here, which is the one I used for a long time. I actually reviewed the second generation as well, but I wasn't a fan of it. So I went back to the first generation overall, and compared to this and the body, they're actually very, very similar, which is probably why I enjoyed using this one so much. So the connectivity-wise, you've got 3 options. You could use it wired while it's charging. You could use the USB dongle that it comes with to give you the greatest latency, or you could use it in Bluetooth mode if you want to have something more versatile for work or productivity. So it's got you covered, you know, whichever way you want to use the mouse, or if you want to use it for gaming and work, you could use it both ways. Now let's talk about the performance. Now, underneath the body of the mouse is where you're going to find the DPI adjustment button with preset levels of 800, 1600, 2400, 3200, 5000, and 42,000. Yeah, that's right. And if you're somebody that does play using 42,000 DPI, I just have one question for you. Who hurt you? Because I can't even imagine anybody being comfortable at 42,000 DPI. If I move my mouse 1 inch on the mouse pad at 42,000 DPI, my cursor is going to end up somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean. The polling rate is also adjustable underneath up to 8,000 Hertz. These are preset as well, which is great if you're into that ultra responsive gameplay, but for most people, 1,000 Hertz is pretty much going to be what most mice have, gaming mice at this point, and it's plenty. 8,000 polling rate just gives you a bit better responsiveness. Now, all those settings that I spoke about, you could tweak the DPI, you could tweak the polling rate, and you could choose macros, side buttons, customization. All that is available through the Epomaker software, the driver that's available as well. The software works well, very simple, but it does everything you need to. And the advantage is, if you have no interest in downloading additional software for your mouse, I don't really blame you. You could do all the adjustments on the mouse itself underneath by choosing all the preset levels. You're just not going to have any customization, so you have to go with the preset DPI. So if you're someone that uses 800 or 1600 or 2400 DPI, you're fine. If you want to get like a 1200 or 1000, then you're going to have to go through the software. So that's just an extra level of customization that you could have. Now, the sensor is the PAW3950, which is top tier for a gaming mouse. But honestly, we've reached a point where sensors are so good for the past few years that anything high-end is going to perform great. The switches with the Epomaker Click Mouse are the Omron D2LS, which requires half the operating force of the D1s. So the switches are top tier as well, makes it a little more responsive than its predecessors. And the scroll wheel is also super satisfying with a nice little feedback. So here's a quick little sound test of what the buttons sound like. Being a wireless mouse, obviously there's a battery inside. It comes with a 500 milliamp battery, which will give you about 50 or 60 hours of non-stop gameplay. To be honest, I've been using this mouse for a couple of weeks now, and I've charged it maybe every third day, but not because it was dying or anything, just because, you know, it's on my desk, the wire right there, so I just plug it in and let it charge to get it back to full, and I've never had any issues with low battery, even after about an 8 to 10 hour session. So as I mentioned earlier, the mouse does come with its own grip tape, which is obviously cut specifically for this mouse, which is nice because a lot of times some people go out and get aftermarket, you know, grip tape for their mice. So the fact that it comes with this is a nice little bonus, a nice little value add. It comes with this I don't know if they all come with the same design, but mine came with this like graphic, glitchy style X's whatever motif, which is pretty nice. It fits the theme of the mouse really nice as well. Very easy to apply. Obviously, I'm not the best, most precise person when applying these. I do have a couple little bumps over here that I screwed up the tape, but it doesn't affect performance and it feels very comfortable. As Epomaker included this in their first iteration of the mouse, I just hope it's something that they keep and not something that they remove in their future when they come out with different products in the mice market. So for their first lightweight gaming mouse, their introductory mouse into the mouse market, Epomaker, in my opinion, did a fantastic job. The mouse comes in at $59 US in white or black, and I think that's a very good price point. It's very similar with a lot of the other mice that are in the market, something like this. They did a great job. The Click Mouse glides well. It feels great in my hand. It has responsive buttons and an excellent sensor, and obviously up to the 8K polling rate, which is a nice little plus if that's something you're interested in. Again, I am not a professional esports player, far from it. So for me, it's just about comfort. Coming in at 19.5 centimeters on my hand, this is a perfect size. The mouse comes in at 12 centimeters, which is, you know, pretty standard size. It's not as big as something like the Glorious Model O, which is a bit longer, and the Viper Ultimate version 1 is also just slightly longer. But at the end of the day, it's a near perfect package, for me anyway, except for one thing. I will say that no matter how much I use this mouse, it still didn't fix my skill issue, and I was still bottom frag. And to be honest, none of these mice really helped me with that. It's more comfortable, 100%. Feels better in my hand. Sometimes I play better with it, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that turned me from a bottom fragger to, you know, the MVP of the team. But that'll do it for this one. Let me know in the comments if you prefer a lightweight gaming mouse. Would you prefer having the weighted option, more customization, or heavier mice in general? Or to be honest, you don't really care as long as it looks good and fits your price range. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.